Are you willing to work for a couple of years to build a great voice? Do you know what it is about your voice now that needs work? It's not one or two little things. It's usually a combination of all of the different elements that make up what your voice is. Go on my website if you want to see all the elements, rnbsinginglessons.com, and just search elements and in the menu, and it shows all the elements. But simply put, it's like lyrics, which involves staying in key, learning every note, the timing of every note, holding every note steadily, changing between notes, doing quick slides from one note to the next, all the intervals of notes. That's only the basic stuff. Then there's the range, then there's speed of change, like how fast you can go through notes, things like runs, switching to falsetto, singing really high and really low in your range, singing with different volumes, all this kind of stuff. It's very complicated, right? So if you want to learn to sing, you got to realize that it's going to take years. It really is going to take years. It's not something you're going to learn in 1 year. Okay? It's just like any other skill, like that you would go to university for. But they don't really give you a university course for singing, right? I'm not sure why. But learning to sing is really like a course, a university course. Now, if you spend 3 years of lessons with someone who's already an advanced singer, you will definitely be a great singer after 3 years. 100% guaranteed. If you're doing a method that progressively builds up all the elements that I just referred to in a gradual way, meeting you where you're at currently and gradually making those skills improve, so step by step in little baby steps, in 3 years you'll develop a beautiful voice. It doesn't even matter where you're starting right now. You will be much, much better than you currently are, and you will be at a professional level. You will be at a level where you can do gigs and shows, you can sing for people, you can record in a studio, and you'll sound beautiful. Guaranteed. Okay? It's not a genetic thing. If you can speak, you can learn to sing beautifully. I got some ideas to say this to you guys in the videos, because sometimes students aren't sure about their voices. They feel like something's missing. A lot of students will say, they'll say more harsh things about their own voice, like, oh, my voice doesn't sound nice, or oh, I don't like how my voice sounds, or something like that. Maybe not even necessarily other people say it to them. They just might think of their own voice in this way. And the reason is because you simply haven't learnt all of those elements that I was discussing to a high level. You might have some awareness of the elements, but not to the level that, for example, 3 years of study would give you. Now, what's 3 years of study? It's approximately 100 hours of practice each year. That's just a figure, all right? So at the end of the 3 years, you would have done approximately 300 hours of practice. And somewhere within that practice, maybe you receive, let's say, 25 hours of instruction in each year. So explicit instruction with a mentor or an advanced person giving you corrections, teaching you concepts, teaching you the elements, breaking down songs for you. So maybe within those 25 hours with the teacher, you work each year, let's say, on 12 songs. So in 3 years, you work on approximately 36 songs. 12 times 3, 36 songs. You spend 75 hours with an advanced instructor, and you spend about 75, the rest 75, so 75, 75, 75. So you spend 300 hours total singing. You spent 75 with the instructor, and 75 times 3, 225 practicing on your own. Yeah, just an example. So let's say 75 hours with your teacher and 225 hours practicing alone. That's approximately 20 minutes a day. Okay, it's only 20 minutes a day. It's not that much, or 20 to 30 minutes a day of practice. It's not that much, and 5 days a week, not even every single day of the week. I think the numbers add up, something like that, okay? Approximately. Let's say 30 minutes every day, something like that. So if you add those numbers and you think, I need you to think of it like this. I need you to think when you go to university or TAFE or school, you don't know what they're going to teach you, do you? You don't know already. And what you do is you show up to class and then they teach you stuff. Okay? Now, misconception with singing for some reason is we think that it's different somehow, but it's not. You don't know what an advanced teacher is going to teach you until you show up to class regularly. Now, if you just show up to class for a month, you're only going to learn a month's worth of work. But if you show up to class for 3 years, like you do when you go to uni, you're going to learn 3 years worth. And those 3 years are going to depend on your progress, how you're going, right? In uni, you pass the courses before you can move on. You can't do, let's say you're learning programming, for example. When I did programming when I was back in uni, you can't do programming level 1 and then just go to programming level 2 unless you pass programming level 1. So you have to, pass and get better, and then you'll be ready to learn something new. Singing is exactly the same. It's exactly the same. It's no different. You don't know what you're going to learn until you go to lessons. So my sort of takeaway message to you is that don't stop learning. Keep learning with someone that gives you feedback, not just videos on YouTube. It's just not enough, okay? Some people are natural to a certain level, and maybe videos are enough, instructional videos and courses. But if you're not improving greatly within like a year of looking on videos and stuff like that, you should, in 1 year, you should make very good progress. You should be like pretty decent. You shouldn't be a beginner anymore, okay? You need to think about getting a teacher, right? So try not to assume you know what singing is because you've watched singing shows, because you know singers in person, because because you know dozens and dozens of songs from growing up over time. You assume you know what singing is all about in terms of how to get your own voice to sound like a professional singer. Try not to assume that, and try to treat it like becoming a singer is like you meeting a lawyer, or you meeting someone, a botanist, or someone like that works with plants, or someone that works with animals and raises animals, or something like that, in a zoo or something. Think that person had to go through so much training to become the person they are now with the knowledge they have, and take and do the actions that they do in their daily life and carry out their jobs. I want you to think of a singer as the same thing. They had to go through years of gaining knowledge and practicing skills to get to the point where they're at. We all do it differently because we've all got different levels of intellect. So that's where singing kind of gets muddy, because it's not exactly like being a lawyer, for example, where you have to learn all the laws. You're not born with that. You know what I mean? But singing, some people are born with certain different abilities in different areas. So you might not have to struggle as much to learn every element. So maybe it won't take you 3 years to become professional. Maybe 1 year you'll be professional. But if you still do 3 years, you'll be higher level. You'll add further to your skill. You'll be more advanced than you are. Unless you're super advanced and 1 year happens to be enough for you. Then you can move on to something else, like instruments or something like that. Alright guys, hope it gives you a better understanding of that you don't know what there is to learn until you actually go and start learning. So try not to assume that you may know what it's all about just because you have a course or something. Treat it like a degree. Treat it like going to school, okay? There's a lot to learn. You don't know what there will be to learn until you show up to class on a regular basis and put in those 300 hours, and you'll see amazing progress. What else are you going to do? Just leave it, let it go. 10 years passes, 20 years passes, and you're not a professional singer. Why? When you can do better than that. See you.